Hey everyone, this is Seamus Kelly, video editor for the Towerlight, here with your Opinionated Glee review of Season 2, Episode 16, Original Song. And I have to go on the record and say, this was a bad episode. Okay. I know what you're thinking.
But Seamus, you have to love this episode!
Yeah, it had love for the gays. You love the gays, right? Yes. I love the gays. I loved that Kurt and Blaine finally kissed. But that doesn't make this a good episode. It makes it a good moment in the episode. Well, maybe a scene in the episode. That was great, but the problem is, as much as I wanted them to kiss, and a lot of Glee fans did, it didn't feel right. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have kissed. It was nice. But the problem was, it's just... They were slowly building to it. I mean, the last episode, we had them talking about sex, and Kurt was like, get out of here, get out of my house, whatever. I mean, it's not that he was mad, he was just uncomfortable. How do we go from that to Blaine wanting to kiss him? Blaine didn't seem that comfortable with him, you know, dating or whatever. They should have built up to this, and that actually leads me to my main problem with this episode, is that there's too much going on. Way too much going on. I understand this is like a mid-season finale, so they're taking a couple week break, so they wanted to shove a lot in there to, you know, tie up some loose ends or things like that. But the problem is, so much was happening. Each scene was so short because they're trying to do so much. And that's the problem. They should have... They had this whole original song thing going on. Fine, original songs are great. Yay. But they could have saved that for another, you know, more normal episode, and that could have driven that episode instead of just shoving it into the side in this episode. I mean, yes, the original songs with Rachel were great at the end, you know, because I've heard so many people say, why doesn't Glee do original songs? Well, they did. There you go. If you don't like them, you know, you probably don't like Glee. Who knows? But just so much is happening, so much is going on, that no scene gets to rest and play out. The scene with Blaine and Kurt, the one that everyone is talking about, was a great scene, but if it had just been a minute or two longer, or have another scene with them where you get to see Blaine, because yes, there was the scene earlier in the episode where Blaine was listening to Kurt sing Blackbird, I believe the name of the song was, and he has that look of like, oh man, I was such an idiot, how could I never say I loved you? But that's not enough for him to then want to kiss Kurt. It's not enough. And it's not even just that. It's that, once again, much like with what Glee normally does, they have so many characters that when they try to focus on all of them, no one gets enough development. The scene with Brittany and Santana, that was great. They referenced what happened last week. That was fine, but it was so short. We didn't really get anything new. We just saw that she's still mad. That's great. It still could have been done better. It could have been done in a way that integrated itself more into other scenes, and it's just... And Glee is... I know Glee is ridiculous. I love Glee. I watch every episode. I own the first season, but they're starting to strain their credibility. Like all that stuff with Sue. I mean, yeah, in a couple episodes ago, she threw someone down the stairs. That's funny. In this episode, she punched someone in the face. That was hysterical and actually helped with the anticlimactic. Of course, we knew they were going to win, but it's starting to get to the point where if we're asked to take the show at least a little bit seriously, they can't keep doing these things that are so impossible, that you're just in your face impossible. I can accept random shit coming out on stage whenever they need it, even though they apparently have no budget. But it doesn't work to, you know, you can only ask people to suspend their disbelief so far, and then if it goes past that, people will just start tuning out. They'll just start tuning out. But overall, if I had to grade this episode, I'd probably give it... God, maybe like a C-. I mean, it's not a bad episode. I almost say it's indicative of what Glee actually is, which is just, it's the best and worst show on TV all at the same time. It does a lot of interesting things, but it also does a lot of stupid things, like cramming too much in this episode. And once again, Blaine, Kurt, awesome. I'm really excited to see what they do, and I'm excited to see what happens to all the other characters. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't mention, like, you know, all this stuff with Quinn and Rachel and Finn, where it's just, it works in this episode, but once again, if they had given it more time to play out, it could have been much better. But that's all I got for you today, folks. So, this is Seamus Kelly, video editor for the Towerlight, and I'm your Opinionated Glee reviewer.